The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello and welcome. I'm Maricela Kelleton. Thanks for joining us for TV1 News. In this edition, opposition wants parliament recalled. Recommendation for Mulitaka people to evacuate, and Barras lose to Uganda. Prime Minister James Marape has welcomed Parliament Speaker Job Pomat's decision to ask the courts for clarification on the process of bringing to Parliament the motion of vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister as per Section 145 of the Constitution. Marape made these remarks after Parliament on Wednesday in light of the decision by the Parliamentary Private Business Committee to reject the latest motion filed by the opposition on the basis that certain sections of the application had not been filled in properly as per the requirements of parliamentary standing orders.
This is the fifth attempt by the opposition to lodge the motion which has been found to be erroneous in some way. Prime Minister James Marape questioned why the opposition was continuously making these basic mistakes. He said the proposal to change government is no lightweight matter as it is a constitutional matter of attempting to change a government mandated through elections. He further stressed that it has become apparent that for the fifth time in a row, the opposition has made mistakes in filling a basic form according to the requirements of law and parliamentary standing order. The Prime Minister expressed satisfaction that the Speaker has made the right decision in going to the courts to clarify himself.
Instances, and I am happy that the Speaker is going to the courts to clarify himself, and I want to advocate that the process is clear. Court only will clear whether the private business committee was right or wrong. Speaker is the chair of the committee. The committee did the findings. For instance, the issue of names. The name that is prescribed on the writs that is returned to the government house and to the parliament is the name of the person that must sign onto the form. So I think that from what we get it along the corridors, there were about six breaches or six mistakes in the form that was submitted for today's private business committee to deliberate on. So I want to inform our country, government is not running away. September is only 2 months down the line.
Marape said the opposition had been amply notified of the length of this season of Parliament and kept making mistakes, adding that it also failed to stop the adjournment as its final opportunity to pursue the motion because it lacked in numbers. Presipa, TV1 News.
The opposition will be going to court to ask the courts to recall Parliament and deliberate on the vote of no confidence motion. In a press conference this afternoon, the opposition MPs indicated that all the criteria set by the Private Business Committee were adhered to in the motion and nothing was wrong with it. They claimed that the Speaker Job Pomat, who is the head of the legislature, and ill-advised by the Clerk of Parliament.
We in the opposition believe that yesterday's decision by the Speaker should have stood by his decisions, only for him to surrender. And the Speaker has caused the chair itself to a point where public hearings now and the Parliament do not have respect of the chair.
He lost control of the House, so he should have invoked Section 61 of the standing orders. and then just suspended Parliament, full stop. And then come back, restore order, and then accept the vote of no confidence on the notice paper. And this comes back to what we've been talking about, you've heard about, you published in the media. Bring your numbers on the floor of Parliament. We brought our numbers. The office of the Prime Minister is the office of the people of Papua New Guinea. It's not for one man or one electorate, one district. It belongs to Papua New Guinea.
Our framers of the Constitution knew that if there is a government that the country is not happy with, under the leadership of one Prime Minister, after 18 months, the law allowed through Section 145 for us to release that bomb in the country. Because all of you know and you
A preliminary geotechnical report from the New Zealand Geotech engineers has recommended for evacuation of people living around the Mulitaka landslide area as the land there is prone to further landslides. The team of experts presented their preliminary report to the Enga Provincial Disaster Committee yesterday. Separate recommendations were also made for a new bypass to be created as the current road that's now under the rubbles is vulnerable to more landslides.
More than 7,000 people in Mulitaka are in danger of facing landslide disasters in future and have been strongly recommended to be evacuated to safer locations immediately. This is according to the geotech engineers from both New Zealand and Papua New Guinea, following initial findings. A separate presentation by the engineers from the New Zealand Urban Search and Rescue and PNG Geoassets Management Division also recommended for a separate road to be constructed, as the current road also sits on unsafe grounds. The team presented the findings to the Enga Provincial Disaster Committee Chairman Sandy Saka, witnessed by the High Commissioners of Australia and New Zealand, senior management from New Pogra Limited, and donor agency representatives. Team leader of New Zealand Urban Search and Rescue, Dr. Jan Kupek, said new landslides are imminent from the top of Mount Mogaulo, where the source of 4 streams make the land there unstable. He highlighted that over 1,500 people living in Kaundap Ward 14, which is at the foot of Tulipa, now completely buried, were at 100% risk of facing more landslides from the rubbles, mostly huge round stones which are currently piled at the disaster site, and also from the mountain top. Dr. Yan added that 2 additional communities that are vulnerable to landslide include Pokolip and Yuyango, as they are located within the red zone. He therefore strongly recommended for these communities to be evacuated immediately. Dr. Yan also urged government authorities to discourage people from walking with loads of cargo over the rubbles back and forth, mainly from Pogra Pila areas. He said the danger was that stones move faster in seconds than human beings, meaning it would be difficult for people to do anything to save their lives if they were at the red zone when a landslide disaster struck. With regards to road connection to the giant Pogra mine and people of Pogra and Pila district, he recommended that it was not safe to clear debris at the disaster site to open up the road access again for travel. He therefore recommended for a reconstruction of 3 to 4 kilometers road at the back of the mountain and said that would be safe to avoid similar disasters in future. However, Dr. Yan also said a temporary bypass can be created through the disaster site, but with extra caution, by installing radars to monitor the situation in the disaster zone. Meantime, Mr. Saka had a meeting with other relevant government agencies, including Works, Mining, MRA and NPL, after the presentation, to look at the best possible options to evacuate the people in the vulnerable zone and to reconnect Pogera, which has been closed for more than 13 days since the disaster struck. Ruth Rungula, TV1 News.
Prime Minister James Marape today gave his government's full assurance to relocate people directly affected by the landslide away from the disaster site. The government has already committed 20 million kina to assist recovery efforts and further committed to work with the Enga provincial government on an evacuation plan to move the more than 7,000 affected people out of the disaster zone. He said the state will acquire land away from the disaster site and will properly settle people away from the unstable area. Following the devastating landslide in Yambali village in Enga province and in accordance with the statement of French President Emmanuel Macron declaring that France would provide assistance, a French military aircraft arrived on Tuesday, 4th June from French Polynesia to deliver humanitarian relief to the Papua New Guinean authorities.
These contributions from France was received at Port Moresby Jackson's airport by the acting director of the National Disaster Center, Lasso Mana, Secretary of Defense Harry John Kipe, acting PNG Chief of Defense Force Commodore Philip Polewara, and France Ambassador Walomi Limaini. Mate Bogasi, humanitarian advisor of the United Nations, was also on the ground to facilitate coordination efforts. The items, tents, jerrycans, kitchen kits, mats and ropes representing 17 tons and 75 cubic meters were coming from a humanitarian preposition stock located in France, Polynesia, supported by an Airbus A400M aircraft from the France Air Force. In addition to these items, the France Ministry for the Armed Forces and the France Ministry for Europe and Foreign Affairs announced a donation of approximately 1,200 to operations by the International Organization for Immigration to distribute for recovery and construction efforts in Enga. This support, coordinated with France regional partners, is also a practical example of the solidarity and civil-military cooperation promoted by France at the South Pacific Defense Ministers meeting in Naume last year, which Papua New Guinea is a member, and the recent Tragila dialogue in Singapore. Tracy Pa, TVWAN News.
At the 13th Festival of Pacific Arts and Culture in Hawaii, cultural ministers from 28 Pacific Island nations held a minute of silence for the victims of the Porgera landslide in Papua New Guinea. They expressed condolences and concern over the recent violence in New Caledonia. PNG was represented by Stephen Kilanda and Professor Leo Marai, who explained the cultural minister's absence due to a looming vote of no confidence. The ministers' closed-door meeting is expected to endorse recommendations from an earlier cultural officers meeting, with details to be published later. You're watching TVWAN News. Among stories after the break, PNG to host Coconut Day and Foundation receives a vital machine.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
Hiya, Mama. You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magical cuddle, get up and big smile on face. Time for kimchi and a great fumu too. Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
Open lens.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager, Bunyam Yumi.
Akwit favorite meal for the day does feel good. Snacks noodles is my choice for a simple meal. It is easy to prepare and fast to cook. And with a touch of flavor and ingredients, quality noodles that can be cooked and enjoyed in many different ways. You see, my whole family loves it. It's made here in PNG and comes in different pack sizes. Snacks noodles, tastier but you like it more.
Superstition ain't the way.
St George Illawarra lower the colours of the three-time champions.
Welcome back. The 8th Asia-Pacific Leaders Summit on Malaria Elimination commenced today at the Hilton Hotel in Port Moresby. Hosted by the government of Papua New Guinea in partnership with the Asia-Pacific Leaders Malaria Alliance, this high-level event gathers heads of state, ministers of health and global health leaders under the theme, Invest to Achieve Zero Malaria.
So we are going to discuss.
The summit, which runs through June 7, 2024, aims to accelerate the goal of malaria-free Asia-Pacific by 2030, focusing on 3 key areas: sustaining financing to support national elimination efforts, engaging communities in malaria prevention, detection and treatment, and strengthening political will and accountability, among others. Prime Minister James Marape could not attend to deliver the keynote remark. However, Health Minister Dr. Lino Tom was present to chair the summit's first day. Attending today's event include Ministers of Health from Indonesia, Vanuatu, Solomon Islands, Timor-Leste, and Dr. Sai Mau Piukala, Regional Director of WHO Western Pacific Regional Office. Participating were Secretaries of Health from Bhutan and Cambodia, along with Director Generals and Directors of CDC and National Malaria Programs from 14 countries across the Asia-Pacific region. On day 1, the plenary session was on innovative health financing approaches for malaria elimination, chaired by Ivan Pomaliu, Chief Secretary to the Government of Papua New Guinea. The session featured a presentation by Dr. Jimmy Rogers, Secretary to the Prime Minister of Solomon Islands. It was moderated by Dr. Christophe Ben, Director of Global Health Diplomacy at the Joab Alange Institute and co-chair of the Board of Directors at APLMA.
So we're going to have to talk about innovative financing mechanisms, the ability to pool funding from different sources, different channels is a critical conversation. Possibly blending financing using catalytic capital from public and philanthropic sources, or increasing private sector investment in sustainable development. We have to work with a very, very open mind. Another strategy perhaps is to direct increased investments towards integrating malaria elimination efforts with broader public health programs. For instance, many countries have worked to integrate malaria and other vector-borne diseases and neglected tropical diseases. Some are jointly managing malaria efforts with primary healthcare efforts and other non-communicable diseases. I understand APLMA and the Global Global Institute for Disease Elimination are currently supporting an integrated disease surveillance project for malaria and lymphatic filariasis in Malin Bay. And those initiatives tend to bring more improved utilization of existing resources and more coordinated efforts to sustainably improve outcomes for all our multiple diseases.
The panel discussion included Simon Bland, CEO of the Global Institute for Disease Elimination, Dr. Sandy Lewin, Senior Program Officer at the Gates Foundation, Martina Pumbo, Suve Hohora, Manager of Policy, Planning and Economics at the National Department of Health of Papua New Guinea, and Dr. Jimmy Rogers.
Under back the budget, we are faced with emerging new diseases, population growth, and so health resource needs increases, and it's still increasing. So that kind of emphasized the needs for the health sector to look into revenue exploring options. So in our current National Health Plan, that is now a priority for us. We've already developed in draft our strategic health financing strategy, and we hope to implement some of that. Some are already explored and implement in the phases of implementation, and some we still need more research on.
The summit continues to foster collaboration and commitment among others, driving the collective effort towards a malaria-free Asia-Pacific by 2030.
Has more than 20.
The Coconuts Industry Corporation today announced that it will be hosting the 2024 World Coconut Day celebrations in Port Moresby. The event will showcase the significant role coconuts play in our economy, culture, and daily lives. The Coconuts Industry Corporation will be hosting the celebration of World Coconut Day at the Sir John Guy's Indoor Complex from 30 September to 5th October 2024. The theme for this year is Coconut for a Circular Economy, Building Partnership for Maximum Value. In 2023, Papua New Guinea was privileged to be chosen as the host country for the 2024 celebrations, a decision endorsed by the International Coconut Community or ICC Secretariat. At the announcement, KIK Managing Director Alan Aku expressed enthusiasm for the upcoming event.
The different products will be exhibited. Currently, according to International Coconut Community, 103 products can be produced out of coconut. We only do 5. And so, some of these products will be showcased during this exhibition or during this World Coconut Day celebrations. We will also be running seminars in that exhibition or in that celebrations. There will be seminars on sustainable farming practices and value addition and market opportunities.
This year's World Coconut Day celebrations will highlight the importance of the coconut industry, bringing together local farmers, producers, industry experts, and SMEs. The celebrations will facilitate the promotion of health benefits of coconuts, highlight the economic importance of coconuts, encourage sustainable practices in coconut cultivation, and much more.
To host this because our international partners have endorsed that PNG should host World Coconut Day celebrations in 2024. We'd like to include our coconut farmers, the researchers, business sector, coconut SMEs, and of course the general public. We're inviting people to come and see the importance of coconut and what it can provide for economic growth as well as your living, livelihood.
In celebrating World Environment Day, Vanimo Town in West Sepik Province emphasized on land restoration, stopping desertification, and building drought resilience. The event was held at the Vanimo Oval on Wednesday, where schools and the community participated actively.
This year's celebration theme is Our Land, Our Future. Emphasizing the importance of preserving the planet's natural resources, the Vanimo community, including schools, came together to emphasize the need for sustainable practices and to protect the planet for future generations, while local primary school students showcased their environmental projects, highlighting the impact of human activities on the environment. The event featured various activities, including tree planting, recycling, and waste management demonstrations. The celebration also emphasized the role of local communities in preserving the environment. By engaging in sustainable practices and promoting eco-friendly products, individuals can contribute to the preservation of natural resources. The event reminded the people of their responsibilities to protect the environment and ensure a better future for generations to come. Tracy Pa, TVWAN News.
On Wednesday, 5th June, BSP Financial Group and its community partner, Brisbane Broncos, presented a portable ultrasound device to Chief Cardiothoracic Surgeon Dr. Noah Tapawa and his team of specialist doctors and nurses at the Port Moresby General Hospital. This invaluable portable echo machine, with its unique capacity in state-of-the-art equipment that will enhance PMG's ability to diagnose and treat heart conditions. Papua New Guinea's cardiac surgeons at the Port Moresby General Hospital will be able to continue screening and saving children with heart defects thanks to a much-needed portable ultrasound device donated by the BSP Financial Group yesterday.
It is not merely a piece of equipment, but a lifeline, a beacon of hope for many families who otherwise might not have access to such available medical technology, and it is with undoubtedly saving many lives in the future.
With this year's donation of the portable echo, the pediatric team are very grateful, and so are the rest of the cardiothoracic team that are in the meeting this afternoon, because it will be now possible for the children from the provinces to have their heart surgery done.
BSP and its community partner Brisbane Broncos presented the support on to Chief Cardiothoracic Surgeon Dr. Noah Tapawa and his team of specialist doctors and nurses.
We are absolutely in awe of what you do. Sometimes as a society, no matter I think what country you live in, be it Australia or PNG, I think we've got everything flipped around. Our players are treated like rock stars, and people are absolutely devastated if we win or lose. And I sit here and I listen to these incredible stories about the work that you are doing throughout your country. And I look at this piece of equipment and what it can do to save lives. You people here, you really are the rock stars. You are the fabric of society that just keeps everything together.
Cardiac team is just like this sport, rugby, yeah? And this machine is just like that rugby ball. Without that rugby ball, you cannot develop the skills. With this machine, there will be training, okay? There will be screening and management of patients.
BSP has been an avid supporter of the Operation Open Heart Foundation for the last 24 years, with over 2.4 million kina in financial donations to support staff training, screening, and now resourcing with equipment to the tremendous work done by the OOH Foundation.
Not just one machine, we need more machines. On behalf of the BSP Financial Group, this is probably a great time to actually do a call out to all the other corporate sponsors out there within Papua New Guinea. That's just one machine. What are you going to do about it for the generation of this country? We need more.
To be utilized by the Operation Open Heart Foundation team, the demo Vivek portable ultrasound device will enable the cardiac team to carry out provincial pediatric cardiac screening effective as of 1st July 2024 around the country and later perform closed heart surgeries at the Port Moresby General Hospital, a procedure that would cost 200,000 kina overseas. And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at 0.2607 US dollars in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, Gao kina was buying 0.2532 US dollars, 0.3778 Australian dollars, 0.2253 euro and 39.22 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, all closed lower except gold and palm oil closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, ASX closed higher, and all ordinaries closed higher as well. This is TV1 News. Stay tuned. We'll have news making headlines overseas when we come back.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo and milk taste and added nutrients, Milo and milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Find PNG made.
When you're spending time with family, when you've got a big day ahead, when you have given it all you've got, when you're putting on a feast, that's when you want the best. That's when you want flame rice. New flame rice. Win him, Olgeta.
Enjoy life when we work together, making happy memories that last forever. Hot in talk, young or old, a scale family meal with home. We'll bring up the smiles cause it's our favorite from us. Tennessee cola, scale rice on scale price. Tennessee cola, scale rice on scale price. Amber, you like it?
Beauty is my business, but beauty sure is a tough game. Filters are great, but great skin, better. And that's why my skin deserves the best. So I choose self-care, soaps that gently nourish my skin, resulting in a radiant look, made with tropical ingredients. I trust self-care from City Pharmacy, so bring it on! My skin is ready and so am I.
To make it 2 in a row for the Gold Coast Suns. And does a backflip! Unbelievable celebration, you'll see it in a moment.
He can launch a bomb. He does launch a bomb all the way home.
Welcome back. With a death toll over the weekend putting domestic violence back in the spotlight in the Northern Territory, a new program in Alice Springs is hoping to tackle the issue head-on. A co-response model involving police, behavioral programs, legal and counseling services is hoping to make a difference. But as is often the story in the NT, there are concerns the funding falls short.
When it comes to tackling domestic violence, collaboration is key. That's the message shared by service providers at a conference in Alice Springs this week.
No organisation, no government agency can respond to domestic and family violence on their own.
That idea has formed the basis of a new program in the Red Centre. When police respond to DV incidents, specialist services will provide support to victim survivors and perpetrators will be referred to behavioural change programs.
We need to recognise that the emergency response by police is insufficient and we need to link women to housing, support services, legal supports, child protection.
The program has been long fought for by service providers who have criticised the government for plans they say were severely underfunded. A boost from the Commonwealth has got it up and running, but only for the next 2 years.
So about $1 million our government's investing particularly in this program. It will be a pilot. It's important to do those trials to see if something's going to work, and if it's working, of course we'll continue to invest in it. While workers in the sector say it's an important step in the right direction, there are fears it still falls short.
We have to make sure that the services around this response are sufficiently funded and staffed.
A long way off similar models interstate.
Compare that to, say, the Queensland government's own commitment of in excess of $20 million over 4 years for their own co-responder model. No, it doesn't go far enough.
But it's agreed the current system is not working, so a step forward is a good way to start.
Growth in the Australian economy has plateaued to a virtual standstill as households continue to juggle higher cost of living and larger mortgage payments. But it might have been worse if not for spending on big-ticket events like Taylor Swift and the Melbourne Grand Prix.
It's the recession Australia isn't having yet, and the Treasurer is clinging to the hope it won't arrive.
Any growth is welcome in these domestic and global circumstances that we confront.
Unlike the 1990s, record population growth is keeping Australia out of recession. But per person, we've gone backwards for 5 quarters in a row. The economy barely grew in the March quarter, taking GDP to 1.1% for the year. Household spending provided a lifeline, with Australians not only forking out for essentials, but also splashing some cash on travel to Asia, concerts and sporting events. That meant they saved a smaller portion of their income. Government spending was also up, but investment across the economy was down. The Reserve Bank Governor, grilled at Senate estimates ahead of the data release, remains hopeful of avoiding a recession. Given the bank wants to prevent job losses, ANZ economists don't think that will happen.
The chances of a hike, given they are trying to achieve and maintain the gains, as we heard a lot in Senate estimates today, that they're unlikely to hike again.
The RBA meets again later this month. Most economists believe the March quarter GDP data won't affect the board's current holding pattern, with the chances of a rate cut by the end of the year now slightly higher.
South Australia's Aboriginal Children's Commissioner has described the state's child protection system as institutionally racist and abhorrent, with First Nations children entering state care at alarming rates. After an almost 2-year-long inquiry, Commissioner April Laurie says more needs to be done to prevent a repeat of the stolen generations.
Of South Australia's child protection system.
Children get disconnected from their families, they get disconnected from their culture, they get disconnected from their community. Their rights get trampled on.
April Laurie has spent almost 2 years investigating the removal of Aboriginal children from their families. She says the child protection system is institutionally racist.
We've got things very wrong here in South Australia. They need fixing.
In a report tabled in SA Parliament, Ms Laurie wrote the state was unnecessarily removing disproportionate and growing numbers of Aboriginal children from their families. She warned the numbers of children being removed are approaching levels akin to the stolen generations.
We have an institution as child protection that has inherited the legacy of the stolen generations, that continually removes our children at alarming rates compared to non-Aboriginal children.
Aboriginal children make up 5% of all children in SA, but they represent 37% of all children in out-of-home care. Ms Laurie says some First Nations babies are removed just hours after birth.
This abhorrent practice of uninformed removals in birthing hospitals needs to cease.
The state's Child Protection Minister responded in Parliament, acknowledging removal rates are unacceptable.
There are multiple and complex factors that contribute to this situation, and across government we are steadfastly committed to the national Closing the Gap targets.
Ms Laurie has made 32 recommendations to the government.
We need more of investment in prevention. We need legislative changes to restore best interests as the primacy for our Aboriginal children and young people.
The Child Protection Minister says she'll consider the recommendations.
Rusty dog food tins, broken lawnmowers and discarded barbed wire have been repurposed in a Northern Territory festival celebrating household junk. Once a year, thousands of people gather in Katherine to see rubbish transformed into intricate sculptures and costumes, spreading the message of giving things a second life.
Brendan Penza has been collecting dog food tins for the past 4 years.
I see potential materials for art in everything. All the tins you see in these sculptures have been consumed by my dogs. This, and then there's an actual Victor two-stroke lawnmower.
His scrap metal creations are a rusty reflection on wasteful consumption of water.
The two lawnmowers have broken down over time trying to cut through the grass that grows in the wet season.
Across town, Penny Faulkner is putting the finishing touches on her sculpture, a piece drawing attention to the suffering of civilians in the war in Gaza.
It's about, you know, a simple message of love and peace.
After making props for Hollywood blockbusters as a commercial sculptor, Penny says she prefers rummaging through sheds for material.
One of the things that used to worry me when I was working in the industry was just so much waste materials went into it.
These unique sculptures were made in time for Catherine's Junk Festival, one of the biggest annual events in the top-end town. While some of the artworks are to be seen, others are designed to be worn, with a runway show putting rubbish in a more glamorous light.
That is a lot of glad wrap.
The festival's message on waste resonating in a town with no curbside recycling.
Junk Fest is a reminder to people to think about what they consume.
When you do engage in practices which help to reduce your footprint in the world, you obviously change the way you think and you change the way you act.
Outback resourcefulness, making treasure out of trash.
This is TVWAN News. Next in sports, Barras lose to Uganda and NRL bid be merit-based.
Hi, I'm Chef Jules Hennow, and this is where my true inspiration for cooking started. Like most of us, I learned to cook from my mum. Nothing beats simple recipes where fresh local produce is at the heart, especially when it's a home-cooked meal, prepared and shared with the ones you love. And in PNG, no meal is complete without rice. And my choice is always True Guy. True Guy, true inspiration through generations.
The PNG LNG project has a positive and long-lasting impact on the whole country. Revenue is delivered through 5 streams. Equity distributions are paid to KPHL and MRDC based on the interest they hold. Tax is paid to IRC, while development levy and royalties are paid to DPE. For more information on direct and indirect benefits, visit PNG EITI's website.
Get ready for more! Digicel's new Bit Plus Supersized Data Plans! Now with
with more options, more plans, and more time. Choose from our daily plans, now valid for 24 hours, weekly plans, or even a monthly plan from our suite of Big Plus Supersize data plans. All with more data and starting from as low as 1 kina. Yes, you heard right. What's up, Asol? Yes, yeah. Only Digicel's Big Plus Supersize data plans gives you more. Activate today on my Digicel app or dial *675# only with Digicel.
What? Sanju, what?
Vedant, wasn't you over there?
Can you tell me, Dr. Vedant? Can you tell me who would ever choose to accept a woman that was abandoned on her
I'm
wedding
the one
day?
who'll be married.
So you did this for Sanju's sake? What is this place? Then that means Sanju is here at home, in the storeroom.
Thanks for staying with us. The PNG Barramundis have lost to Uganda by 3 wickets in the T20 Cricket World Cup at Guyana National Stadium, West Indies today. Both teams took the pitch in the hope of registering their first win in the T20 Cricket World Cup, and it was Uganda who came out winner courtesy to their bowlers.
Fielding coach, former India fielding coach.
Early in the match, Papua New Guinea posted a well below par total and only 3 batters crossed the single-digit mark, which put them under par. Uganda, on the other hand, was sensational with the bowling. Except for Brian Masaba, every other bowler picked up a couple of wickets each. Frank Nusuba also bowled the most economical spell in the T20 World Cup, giving away just 4 runs in his 4 overs, helping his side to victory. The Barramundis will be disappointed as they had Uganda in a spot of butter and were probably ahead in the game. However, some poor fielding and matching proved to be very costly for them. Charles Amini dropped Rizat Ali Shah on 8, and that was the turning point in the game, as he took the game away from them. Alei Now and Norman Vanua picked up a couple of wickets each, while Chad Chopper and Asad Vala chipped in with 1 each. They will feel like this was a missed opportunity for them, but they deserve credit for taking the game this deep. Meanwhile, this was Uganda's first ever World Cup victory in only their 2nd game ever. It was all smiles in the hut, and the fans present in Guyana Stadium were dancing around to celebrate this victory. It is once again so close yet so far for the Barramundis, as they showed great fight defending this low score, but their catching and extras let them down in the end. PNG plays Afghanistan in the next outing of the T20 World Cup.
New Caledonia's men's football team were due to play their Group A matches against New Zealand, Vanuatu and Solomon Islands in Port Vila, Vanuatu. However, the Federation Caledonia D Football has decided to withdraw the national team from the OFC Men's Nations Cup 2024 in Vanuatu and Fiji due to the current crisis in New Caledonia. With their omission, Group A will now feature Solomon Islands, New Zealand and co-host Vanuatu. Group B in silver contains Papua New Guinea, Tahiti, Samoa and co-host Fiji. The top 2 teams from each group advances to the semi-finals in Port Vila. Meantime, defending champions New Zealand have gone with a mix of youth and experience in their OFC Men's Nations Cup 2024 squad as NZ looks to win a record-extending 6th championship. New Zealand's success in 2016 represents the last time the OFC Men's Nations Cup was held, when the Kiwis overcame Papua New Guinea on penalties in Port Moresby to lift the trophy. PNG Hunters Wrecking Ball Junior Rope is not making excuses about last week's loss to South Logan Magpies and vowed to back himself up with another solid performance this week against Clydesdales in Toowoomba. The Hunters prop, who has had a seemingly up and down start to the season due to niggling injuries, is determined to stay injury-free to finish the season on a good note.
At full time.
Reeling out from last week's painful loss at home to a star-studded Magpies outfit, Hunters enforcer said the team feels accountable for the loss and needs to regroup and make amends when the Hunters travel out this weekend to face 14th place Clydesdales in Toowoomba, 2 p.m. on Sunday. Rob admitted they always feel confident playing at home, and to lose like that hurts. He said defense and breakdown in their process and structure let them down.
Worst thing, it was our home game, so we lost, and then off a loss and loss again. It's not good, so we don't feel good. We were really hurt at the end, and we didn't like the result. Coaches came back, did his own review. We did our own self-analysis and all this, so we're trying to put us together again and work really hard on our mistakes. Yeah.
So the former nursing college student is reminding his boys again that their next game is a must-win game, which means they have to win at all costs before they break for 2 weeks, which is not ideal.
It's our must-win game. We need to win and finish off positive so we can go on our break. So we're really looking forward, preparing ourselves, and go on our bye with a positive note. So yeah, we really want to win this game, and we'll win this game.
Commenting on his form this season, Rob said he's had a few ups and downs with injury at the start of the season, but after coming back from rehab and into the starting 13, his body is feeling good and ready to rip in again this weekend, leading from the front.
I had ups and downs, started my season very poorly, but now I'm happy I'm back. I worked on my fitness and rehabs and all this stuff, and now I'm looking forward, so I'm able to lead from the front, as I always do, and do my job on and off the field.
Harry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
Brisbane Broncos duo DeLuis Hota and retired Ryan James are in Port Moresby accompanying Broncos captain Adam Reynolds driving awareness for the BSP 2024 Financial Literacy Program in schools. The visit is part of the BSP and Brisbane Broncos Partnership Community Engagement Program, where they have been able to tour schools in NCD and help BSP spread the message of financial literacy among boys and girls and build a strong culture of savings.
Current Broncos centre wing at DeLuis Hota and recently retired Titans and Broncos prop Brian James, while acknowledging the importance of the partnership between the Brisbane Broncos BSP Community Engagement Program, expressed support and willingness to be part of the program and share their experiences in financial literacy with the schools and the local community. The launch thanked BSP not just for the financial literacy, but for all the good work they are doing in schools, in cricket programs and netball, which they'll be doing on the next trip.
My name's DeLuis. I'm a current player of the Brisbane Broncos. Having my second time here with BSP has just really shown me how important it is for guys like myself, but also, the captain of the club, Adam, to come back and pass the message to the community about all the great things BSP is doing, not just with financial literacy, but also the partnerships they have with the cricket, the cricket program and, the netball stuff that we're going to be doing a bit later. Just goes to show how important it is with the partnership. And you spoke about the community, giving back to the community, not just, Digicel and BSP, but, Ryan does a lot with our community back in Brisbane, and, we understand how important it is for us to give back to the people and to see how we've been received here. just goes to show how important it is for us to give back. And
former Broncos second rower prop Brian James, who is now part of the Broncos community team as an ambassador and workshop facilitator, was excited to be part of the trip and thanked PSP and BDCEL for coming together in such partnership to educate the community about financial literacy and genuine community outcome.
Part of the Broncos community team, played NRL from 2010 to 2022, but thank you Digicel and BSP. Genuine community partnerships are great, and it's great to see two big companies helping the community, which is why it's such an easy partnership for the Brisbane Broncos. But thanks for having us.
Henry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Injured Brisbane Broncos star captain Adam Reynolds is confident of making his highly anticipated return to the NRL soon after he suffered a ruptured bicep against the Roosters in round 9. The Broncos have had to do without their playmaker since, but their main playmaker has assured fans he's recovering well and be back on deck before the finals.
Picking up a hamstring injury before rupturing his biceps in round 9 somewhat epitomizes Reynolds' horror run of injuries in season 2024. However, on a brighter note, the Broncos captain assures his fans his body is now in good shape for full recovery as he looks forward to injecting some life back into the team back end of the year.
It's going good. Unfortunately, it's not the biggest bicep at the moment. Can't show off the guns, but yeah, it's sort of like a reset button for me. It's like you mentioned, it's been a bit of a up and down roller coaster sort of season, but it's an opportunity for me to obviously go away, work on my body, come back in good shape, and you know, hopefully inject some life into the team at the back end of the year. I know how fatiguing seasons can be. They are long, especially through this origin period. We're going to need to call on a number of players in the squad, and that's something that this team's done really well over the last couple of years. Is you know, produce young talent that come up and take an opportunity. We've seen the likes of these two boys, you know, take their opportunity when needed in that jersey, and certainly haven't let the club down. So
Reynolds has again assured his loyal Broncos fans he'll be on track to hit the ground running just before the semi-finals.
Yes, definitely. The plan is to try and get back about a month and a bit just before the semis, get a couple of games under my belt, and hopefully hit the ground running and see us back in the finals.
The Broncos captain is in Port Moresby, accompanied by Broncos CEO Dave Donaghy and other club representatives, including fellow players Louise Hoyter and Ryan James, as part of the BSP Brisbane Broncos Community Partnership Program.
It's been fantastic from the moment we touched down in PNG. The reception we got at the airport was quite amazing. You know, all the way through to the school visits, to see the smile on the kids' faces, the loud cheers. It's been quite overwhelming. We obviously don't get that sort of reception back in Australia. We know the impact that we do have here in PNG, and for us to you know, align ourselves obviously with BSP and have the opportunity to come over here and spread the message of financial literacy is amazing.
Henry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
And that's all the sporting news. We'll now have the weather forecast. Port Moresby, partly cloudy with few possible patchy showers and thunderstorm. Daru, few showers. Lae and Madang, partly cloudy with few possible showers. Vanimore, few showers. Lorengau and Kavieng, few showers. Mount Hagen, partly cloudy with possible few showers. Coral Sea, seas light to moderate with southeast winds of 10 to 20 knots. Pacific Ocean, seas smooth with southeast winds of 5 to 10 knots. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border, to Daru to Kiwai Islands, Kerma to Yule Island, Hood Point to Samarai Islands, and waters of Finchafen through Vitiaz Strait to Siasi Long Islands to Kaukar Island, seas 1 to 2 meters. And that wraps up the news tonight. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.